Hi guys, and welcome back to OG Cars, and in today's video you join us for a car collection caper, but G is actually just going to ditch me. I have to drop her off at Bristol Airport on the way so that she can enjoy a lovely holiday by herself with her friends. How selfish. And I'm going to go and pick up a very exciting new to me car. So this car is very exciting to me, at least anyway. It's a very, very rare car, and one that probably wasn't very highly regarded at the time, or probably even now. But it's a car that was just of peak interest to me. I don't know why. Still don't know why, but I find it very cool. And one of my friends has one, and recently I've seen a couple at Rustival show and one at the NEC as well. So I think that's just riled me up and put me in the position that I really don't want any more cars because I've got enough projects, but when this opportunity came up, I just had to have it. So let's go to Weston-super-Mare and go and pick it up. We've just arrived and I'm very excited. There is the new to us car. Sam's almost here, so I'm just going to move the Saab out of the way now. And yeah, what we'll do is get the Sana loaded up on the trailer and take it back to our place. So that's right guys, this is my new Yugo Sana. Now I am very excited about this. There's only roughly 11 known Yugo Sanas left, and of which roadworthy only 2, and of which savable probably only a couple more than that. And this is hopefully one of those savable cars. Now many of you will already know this car as the HubNut's Yugo Sana. It's the one that was saved from, I think it was Castle Gresley. It had been there since after its second MOT ever that it was parked up. So a very long time it's been in there, probably almost 30 years. It's just been hanging around now, and not a lot has happened since. Well, admittedly some stuff has happened with Matt. So basically obviously HubNut did various videos on this, had it turning over I believe, and did a couple of things with the electronics, and obviously got the boot lid and the rear light on, a couple other bits. It went to Matt Pink, who has a YouTube channel as well. I'll just tag both of those YouTube channels in the comments below. But basically since then it's been used as a parts car basically, not per se because it's only had a wiper motor removal and a clutch removal, but that said it basically donated parts for his red Sana GL, which has just gone back on the road. So a worthy cause, but I'm going to be looking for a couple of things for this car, of course. I'll probably go into the Yugo history at some point, but basically this is a H-Reg. The Yugo Sana was not sold for very long. I think it only came on 3 of the prefix registrations, and it used a 1.4 Fiat-derived Lampredi engine, very similar to that of the Fiat Tipo, I believe, which I've never had a 1.4 Fiat Tipo, but I did have a 2-litre, which I think probably had a very similar engine design, probably Lampredi engine as well. And the design of the car was done by Giugiaro, so of course that kind of styling that he did for many similar cars of this era, and as you can see obviously there is no gearbox in there currently. This piece of wood was up on there holding the engine up, but it was kind of flapping around. We did actually have it ratchet strapped up while we had it on the trailer. Big thanks to Sam McGlynn again for transporting another car for me after he did my blue and orange Wartburg last weekend. But yeah, we've just flopped that in there because it seems to be holding on its own at the moment. But yes, as you can see, the flywheel, no clutch on there at the moment. Let's go and look at the one that I have. So here's what we've got. Now this is a generic Fiat Tipo 1.4 replacement, so the friction plate is correct, however the pressure plate is not. As Matt has explained to me, it should be about 11mm prouder on the pressure plate, and obviously this one is not. This one was actually fitted to his GL. The GL had a failed clutch. It was replaced with this, and then the car still didn't work, obviously because it was the wrong size, and therefore it was parked up for a very long time. And to get the car back on the road, because Matt had bought so many Fiat Tipo ones to try and replace the clutch on his GL, he ended up robbing it from this particular car, and therefore this one doesn't have it, and the gearbox is now in the boot. Right, here we are in the boot, which I'm holding up myself because these boot struts clearly do not do anything. Yes, there is cut wires here, which is a bit of a shame. The gearbox is in the back there. To be fair, it's all complete, you know. It's got like all the brake bits and suspension bits and the drive shaft bits. It's just some of it is strewn inside. The original Yugo wheels are inside as well. It's currently running on Fiat Punto wheels with some tyres that mostly hold air instead of these really old tyres, Tiger ones, all season thingy-jigs, but yeah, with the old style tread and obviously early 90s tyres, so definitely not fit for the road. Now, I don't know if you can tell entirely, but the seats are not in the best condition anyway. Obviously this is all coming apart, so I'll be asking a friend very nicely if they can reupholster my whole interior at some point, I imagine. There's a couple of original wheel trims here. I think there's 2 there, and the headrest for the driver's side as well. Spare headlight, there's a spare fuse box down there, a couple of spares. I don't know what's happened with the steering cowling. I need to actually check out what's happened with that, but I know that obviously Ian was playing with the wiring. I don't know if it ever came with a key. I don't think it has one now anyway. So yeah, I need to figure out what's going on with sort of like all of the wiring over there, and yeah, figure out a key and ignition setup. And I don't know if there's a cowling or not. I think this is the intake cover, and there is a Haynes manual there for an earlier Yugo, I believe. Yeah, that's just the intake cover. Yeah, there's a couple of boxes and things, but I'm not sure if there's actually a steering cowling in there, but we'll figure things out. Obviously that is a problem though, isn't it, because the Yugo Sana is a very rare car and there's not a lot of parts availability, so my hunt is going to involve trying to find a clutch of the right size. It's going to involve trying to find a couple of trim panels, which may be very hard to find as well, and the driver's side front wing is a little bit dented. I don't know how well you can tell from there, but yeah, it is sort of creased in a couple of places. It may well come out a little bit if removed and taken from the inside potentially. And this stripe, this is terrible. This is hand painted, and it's all flaky and faded, and yeah, it's not done a good service for the car, so that will be going. But that said, the paint overall is not the best anyway, so maybe one day in the future we'll get a respray, but let's be honest, this is all stuff that's going to be way in the future. The rear arches, rear sills, are not particularly happy, mainly this side to be fair. It needs a little bit of work over here. To be fair, it's not that bad though, it's not gone like really far up, and the arch, ultimately, I could probably make something of a rough shape if I just cut out little bits, but we'll see how much we have left after we've poked things. But to be fair, the first thing I'm going to be doing is finding the clutch, getting it all back together, and then actually getting it running, because it turns over but it's not been started, so I just need to figure out the ignition side and sort that. Yeah, the rear sills hold here, and I think there's a little bit on the inner sill. The passenger side is actually pretty good. If we go over there, I think the rest of it is actually really quite nice. The front looks pretty good to be fair. So yeah, it's just this little hole on the near side rear. I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, and this arch is actually pretty good with a bit of going over. I think it would just need, you know, cleaning back and respraying, so that side isn't too bad. I do love the design on the Sana. Everything's a little bit different, you know. It's got these interesting sort of door handles and this interesting door handle design there. Got a little pop-out ashtray there. I'm just finding things as I go along. Matt obviously mentioned that these, every time you go for the indicator, you turn your lights on or off, which is a funky design that even Tiff Needell mentioned in the Top Gear episode of the time when he was looking at this car when it was new. But yeah, it's all kind of a funky design with a funky dash design as well. If you're interested in some of the quirks and some of the history, it's definitely worth going back and watching HubNut's videos, and a couple of Matt Pink's ones as well. He's got a couple where he does a couple of little bits, so it's worth watching those just to see where this car has come so far, and hopefully one day in the future I can get this car a bit further as well. I'll admit at this point in time it's probably a little bit daunting, because it's going to need a fair bit of work there, a fair bit of work everywhere. So yeah, there's a little bit to go on this car, and we've got plenty of other cars to finish and do first, so this car is definitely not first in line. But when it came up, I just had to have it, so massive thanks to Matt Pink for actually giving me this car, and hopefully I'll be able to do it the justice it deserves. On that note, I want to leave you, and we will revisit this car another time. So thanks very much for watching this video, everyone. Like, comment and subscribe, and we shall see you all in the next one.